Greetings to every great Nigerian out there. In this conversation, I want to talk about the importance of prayer. Prayer for Nigeria. Because for us to build Nigeria, prayer is an integral part of the process. Now, when I talk about prayer, I'm not talking about this mindless babbling where you talk and talk and talk and think that because you have repeated a word thousands of times, it now becomes active. No. Now, when I talk about prayer, I'm talking about that refined word that issues out of a noble heart, out of a just heart, out of a holy heart. Now, what do I mean by that? Our words are actually the transformative tool with which we can transform our society. But for your words to transform society, for your word to transform your world, for your words to impact your world positively, your heart has to be pure in that particular aspect that your word is flowing. If I use a religious term, you must serve in spirit and in truth. So your spirit should sync with the truth of your life. Now, superimposing this on a Nigerian question, speaking the word as prayer. When you speak the word, you can transform. But the unfortunate thing is that a lot of us, humanity as a whole, have not come to that spiritual level where we understand the spiritual implication of our words. So what the things that come out of our is like thunder, fire you, God punish you, thunder, devil punish you. All those kind of low vibrational words that does a lot of harm to ourselves and to the people we're speaking these words to. Those are the kind of words that come out of the mouth of those who have not understood the spiritual implication of our words. But when you understand the importance of your words, you begin to speak life into people's situation. You begin to speak positive things because you speak to life from the point of your spiritual eyes, which is the eye of faith and vision. Now, yes, spoken words is the beginning of the prayer we need for Nigeria. So we have to confess positively. We have to speak words that are transformative to our nation. But the second aspect of prayers I'm talking about for Nigeria has to do with our imagination, has to do with our faith, has to do with our thoughts. Because thought is the beginning of creation. In the beginning was the Word was with God, and the Word itself was God. But behind the Word is a thought, because God is not a mindless talker. He thinks. When he thinks something, then he speaks the word. So before the word was uttered, let us make man in our own image. It was thought in the mind of God. Because God is omnipotent. That means he knows everything. And knowledge is in the mind as thought. So we have to begin to visualize Nigeria from a positive light. It's like when you want to build a house, you know the house is going to be 4 rooms, 1 parlor, each room is going to be en suite, the dining is going to be here, the kitchen is going to be this size, and I'm going to have my gardens here. On this part of the garden, I'll plant rose flowers. On this side, I'll plant hibiscus. That is how we need to visualize Nigeria, because the visualization becomes a strong force that acts on us and inspires us to behave in particular ways. So that is the prayer I'm talking about. That's the real prayer that necessitates or activates the spoken word, the spoken prayer. Now, there's a saying in law that he who goes to equity must do so with the clean hands. For us to utter the words of prayer, the positive words of prayer, our hands must be cleared by our thoughts. Our thoughts have to be positive. Our thoughts have to be working in line with divine decree or divine inspiration. When we do so, then we are building Nigeria from the future. We're building Nigeria as prophets, not prophecy of those who see the future and tell you you're going to have motor accident next week. So come, let's do this sacrifice or this ritual to solve the problem. No. I'm talking about the prophecy of he who has seen the future from his aspiration in his mind and starts working towards actualizing that future from the mind. That's the greatest prophet of the future. So we need to begin to see Nigeria from that perspective of prophecy, from that perspective of growth, from that perspective of where things are put aright. From that perspective of where we have politically sound leaders, people whose mind is sound and full of light. People that are enlightened enough to guide society to a safer ground or safe shores. We need to begin to visualize the result we want. The Nigeria of the result we want. The Nigeria of the moral value that we want. Is it justice? Is it integrity? Is it harmony? Because today we suffer insecurity to a level that almost everybody wants to jump out of Nigeria because of insecurity. Even though when you jump out of Nigeria, you suffer another kind of insecurity that I'm not going to talk about here. When you get there, it's in my language. They say it means that you use your eye to see fire. When you get there, you will see their own form of insecurity. Then maybe you do that. This one way they suffer here, maybe in better past that one. Like, I don't know. Some of you don't know that in some states, it is illegal for you to collect rainwater. It is illegal for you to collect rainwater. So they have their own issues. There are places where, as a black man, police stop you for road. Say, give me a license. Before they bring license, they don't shoot you. Say, a gun you want bring. So they have their own issues. Now, we have insecurity in Nigeria. Insecurity comes as a result of the fact that we as a people, we are not at peace with ourselves. So we behave in any way to other people. It makes the place insecure. People have decided to live their lives by gangsterism. And today the society is suffering for it. So we need to come back home. We need to think. We need to pray. We need to visualize, and we need to see a better Nigeria. Because that's the only way we can become a better nation. Let us pray for Nigeria with our thoughts, with our aspiration, with our visualization, with our faith. So when we speak the word, it becomes an active force that it has the capacity to transform our nation, to transform our personal lives, to transform our community, to transform our society, and achieve the success we all desire. I believe in Nigeria, and I believe we can be greater. If you believe in Nigeria, then let's work together as a team. Let us make Nigeria a better place. Thank you for listening. I hope that this awakens something within you. Cheers. Greetings to every great Nigerian out there. In this conversation, I want to talk about the importance of prayer. Prayer for Nigeria. Because for us to build Nigeria, prayer is an integral part of the process. Now, when I talk about prayer, I'm not talking about this mindless babbling, where you talk and think that because you have repeated a word thousands of times, it now becomes active. No. Now, when I talk about prayer, I'm talking about that refined word that issues out of a noble heart, out of a just heart, out of